everybody perceives life differently. Some people maintain attachments to the past. They cling to something to seek validation. They want to feel loved. All these little nuances, especially in family dynamics. A lot of time, I think the real problem is within society, the onus tends to be on um, maintaining relationships with family members. Like the family you're born into matters more than anything. And a lot of time, they're toxic situations. Not everybody. Of course, sometimes you do get those wonderful dynamics. And in those situations, jealous people, maybe they'll turn around and say, well, you're pretending no family gets on that well. Some families do. Some families don't. But sometimes it's about knowing when to cut ties. So I think my life's been more traumatic than perhaps I give myself credit for. I think you know what I mean, because we all live life based on the circumstances we're presented with. So to us, it's just normal. There's no it's not strange. It's just maybe other people's lives are more strange, but your own life is just standard, isn't it? It's just typical. So from about 4 years old, I don't know the exact age. It was definitely young, that sort of age range. My father left my life. And when you're little, you don't really know the reasons. Was he not interested? Personally, as I grew older, I started to sort of connect the dots a bit, but I wasn't really bothered. It didn't bother me because my mum's always been incredible, and I had a stepdad, but I could always lean on my mum. I could always go to her. I trust her immensely. Whatever happens, I have no doubt that whatever's happened was for the best, and that's the thing. I don't sort of blame. I don't blame her in any way. This is how I think it happened, and I'm not sure because again, I don't raise the question that much. It's not like I'm scared to. I just don't really give a shit. But based on what I know of my father from other accounts from siblings, and when I spoke to my mum, she told me little bits. She get more open with it as I get older if I ask. Even she recently encouraged me to reach out about him to him because there was something about ancestry. Because I'm sort of thinking what passports I might be entitled to. But I was the one that said I ain't reaching out to him because I think he's manipulative as shit. I'll get to that. Um, yeah, I'll get to that. But what I think happened really, I think my stepdad gave him an ultimatum: either be consistent or piss off, or maybe just told him to go because he's no good. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you don't know the reason why things happen, but all you can do is trust they had the best intentions. Because at the end of the day, if someone doesn't want to leave or they're really that committed to you, they wouldn't go. Like, for instance, my daughter. We compare it to a situation, and this is how it's easy. Like, I can put it into context. My ex accused me. I don't want to go too deep into the relationship. I've spoke about it in my book, A Father's Daughter. Me and my daughter inseparable. I supported her mother through all the ups and downs. And it reached a point where the relationship was sort of like we're going through a heavy period. It wasn't really, I don't know, they were hot and cold. And they end up leaving, but they accused me of all sorts of things as they left because it validated because they knew effectively we're going to have a custody battle. And they had issues, and it was a way to nullify their issues and make me the problem. That's what it was. I was a scapegoat. And in the process, of course, they're expecting to scare me off. He won't fight this. He'll go. He won't bother. It's going to be too complicated. The accusations are going to be. He'll be too scared. No, that's not the case at all. We went through family court. I cleared my name through family court pretty much, and yeah, my daughter's still in my life. I weren't going anywhere. So I'm not sure it was that hard for him. It's like, come on, if you want to be in their life, you stay in their life, and I've always felt that anyway. But anyway, I'm very protective of my mum. I know I have siblings on that side. From what I understand, is I have an older sister. I am the eldest boy, and since then he's had more kids. So effectively, there's a family on that side. I don't know, but again, I don't really care, and that's not being spiteful or personal about it. It's just genuinely, I don't care. I do a lot. I'm an independent person anyway, and it's like if you're not part of my life, if the past isn't in my present, it's certainly not in my future, and that's how I am. It's not spiteful. It's just who I am. So like when I see people get attached or they feel insecure because of their past, it's like for me, I can't understand that. Just draw a line and build your future. Your past doesn't define you, But a video just come up about inheritance and shit, and I don't really care about none of that. But anyway, it just got me thinking, really, a situation. Like anything, we all have a curiosity. So all I was really interested is did he do with his life? Pretty much, what did he do with his life, and is he successful? Because in terms of intelligence, without being rude, I'm the most intelligent of my siblings. I'm more intelligent than my mum, so it just got me. It just got me. That was the curiosity, really. What did he do for career? So, from my understanding and delving into his LinkedIn, I just found him on LinkedIn, really, and I won't that bothered. I was just that it was like a low level curiosity. This wasn't me. I didn't want to instigate anything. I just curious. What did he amount to? Um, Maybe it gives an indication, maybe what your potential is. Do you know that sort of thing? So it turned out he was just a carpenter, and from there he got high profile opportunities. He's worked in Russia. He's worked for massive like hotel brands, all sorts of things. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know any of that industry, but anyway, so he had prominent positions, seems to have done incredibly well for himself in that sense. So I was like, okay. At that point, I was like, okay, so maybe he's just thrown himself into career. If that's his life, that's what some people do. But he hasn't. He's got more kids, so I don't really know the ins and outs. From my siblings told me he was abusive to my mum. Pissed me off immediately because if that's true, I'm very protective of her. So yeah, we wouldn't get on. And that's the truth. So anyway, this is quite crazy because I'm looking at the dates. I've still got the emails. I'm not an idiot. It's more of just an awareness of a situation. It's like a time capsule. So in 2014, this is. So that's literally 10 years ago. And he never followed up. This is the point. He never followed up. Not that I was interested because I don't give a shit. Because again, I didn't follow up beyond the follow up. I'll share it now. This could be a bit long. So that if you could end there with the dynamic if you like. But this is the relation. This is the conversation between me and them now. Bear in mind, I did most of the talking. But because I cut him off, effectively, he's reached out because he noticed I saw his LinkedIn profile. And then I was like, well, I'll give you a rundown of my life. And then you don't have to ask me anything anymore, and we're done, aren't we? And that's how I was, and that's how I am. I've got strong boundaries with people. I don't lead people on. So I'll share what he said, and maybe by the end we'll decide together whether I've analysed that person well enough or not. Because personally, I think they're a bit manipulative. That's my opinion. That's sense I got, and I was like, I'm not playing this. If you think you're playing me, you don't. No one plays me. You don't play me. So anyway, that's what they said. Hi, I noticed you viewed my profile on LinkedIn, so I was hoping that you might like to meet up. Would not be so bad as you might think. I had a reunion with my other sons a couple of years ago, tears were spilt, but it was great. And we're now keeping contact. Please email at my personal address and my mobile number is. Leave it with you and please do not miss chances. They sometimes do not come around again, okay? I never saved the phone number. It is there because I'm seeing it now. I've never emailed. I sent the email in response to this, but that's it. It's little things I pick up on. Leave it with you. Please do not miss chances. They sometimes do not come around again. Why don't they come around again? Now I kind of understand if death, for instance, if that's the end. But other than that, it's like, wait, what? So it's very much a now or never, is it? Then it's never. Do you know what I mean? So I sent a very long message, but there's a reason for this very long message. Whether it's good, I haven't read it since. So I don't even know what I said. I just know I gave a rundown. If there's personal names, I will have to adjust them in my mind and say them differently. So I just put subject my life. Again, bear in mind this is 10 years ago. I've done an awful lot since then. An awful lot. Yeah. As I'm older now, I don't feel the need to be rude. Wait a minute, let's just get people for tracks. I'm 41 now, so I would have been about 30 at that point. Yeah. That's before my books. As I'm older now, I don't feel the need to be rude. There was a time when I had no interest in finding out about you. I didn't ask mum questions. I've had a good upbringing. The only time I ever felt slightly left out was when my stepbrother's American mum came by a few times to take them out. They'd go for a meal out and come back with presents. I'd be sitting on the sofa having watched TV with mum and Mick. Mum was always good at making it up to me. She can always tell what I'm thinking without saying it. In truth, that's the only time I ever felt slightly envious. Every holiday I would go with David to stay with his dad with him. I was always treated equal, never any different. I have some fond memories of the times we visited growing up. I now don't talk to his dad, but that's for my own reasons, not his. I have no idea why you stopped visiting, but you obviously have your reasons, whether it was your choice or you was told to stay away. As I say, I've never bothered mum with the question. Judging by the fact, as you have said, you have other children you also abandoned since reunited, it was more than likely for your own reasons you stopped visiting. I don't take it personal. Why would I? You hardly had time to bond with me. It's not like you was to know who I would become. Some people are born to be parents, others are career driven. Having seen your LinkedIn profile and jobs and places you've been, it's evident you place a high importance on career. I don't judge it. Everyone's unique and don't want the same things in life. If anything, I'm happy you didn't stay to make things awkward or uncomfortable if you wasn't committed to a steady relationship with me. I currently have a child of my own and a stepdaughter. Witnessing what it's like to see her dad being unreliable, reluctant to pay or provide for her with anything, but having the nerve to demand seeing her really gets under my skin. He wants to be dad, but only when it suits him. Living with that in the way Mick had to, I can be comfortable in the knowledge that it was probably for the best that life went the way it has. When you say tears were shed when you reunited with your other children, I can assure you there are no tears from me. For starters, I have children of my own. I'm a dad, no longer a child myself. I'm also very stubborn, as my sisters have pointed out to me, for which I didn't even realize myself. They explained to my partner that I won't do anything I don't want to. Nothing will get him to do it. That is true. I don't submit to any form of peer pressure. I'm independent. All my brothers and sisters have smoked, but I have never once placed a cigarette in my mouth. Don't want to, I won't. I once started a job and the first thing they said to me was, "New guy makes tea." My reply was pretty blunt. Well, you lot can fuck off and make your own bloody tea. I'm not a pushover or weak. If I'm treated fair, I'm easy to talk to, bubbly character, a trait I get from mum. I guess, however, my snappy side comes from you. Not an insult, just a guess. I can be a really nice guy or a complete asshole. If I don't like someone, I won't talk to them, and they'd clearly know I have no interest. I'm not perfect or an angel in any way. They've never been in trouble with the police or anything like that. I've no idea if any of your family members know of me, and I don't have any grudges here. But my family is already big enough. I have 6 brothers and sisters, a whole ton of nephews, nieces, not to mention my own kids and my partner's family. Meeting more people and getting to know them really isn't on my list of things to do. I can be sociable in that when I chat, I can talk for a long time. However, I'm also unsociable. Just got to move this. It's getting a bit hard to read. I'm also unsociable. As much as I find it easy to talk to people and they enjoy my company for the most part, I like to be left alone. Sitting down at home is where I'm happiest. My partner likes to go out a lot. I like to sit. At school, I was one of the most popular, not in terms of call, but in that I wasn't defined by a single group. I had my main group of friends, however, I mixed well with everyone. I was the funny kid at school, made people laugh, not by jokes, but in general. I hate jokes. They're too pretend, and I find it's people trying too hard to be funny. Can't say I'm as funny or joyful as I once was. However, kids and responsibilities kind of takes its toll. But I still have plenty of moments with the kids when I'm silly and they laugh a lot. They're the only people I care to impress. I'm a protective parent. I don't relax when I'm out. My partner watches the kids enjoy themselves. I'm watching everyone else to see who's looking at my kids. More security detail than anything. When I'm there, nothing can happen. If I'm not there, I worry. There was one incident when I was younger. I think I was about 12, 13, downtown with friends when a man approached me outside a shop, asked me where I bought the cake, and would I show him where it was. I said it's down that road. He asked me to take him. I had enough sense to know this is very odd, so I hurried back in the shop to my friends and tried to be calm. Of course, it played on my mind for a while. What if? I didn't tell Mum about it for a long time. I'm guessing that's where my overprotection for my kids comes in. I know firsthand there are strange people out there. Plus, my kids mean more to me than I do. My sole purpose on this planet now is to teach and protect them. Jessie's a better version of me. She's quirky and funny like I was, but a lot more fiery. My partner's parents aren't the calm type, so maybe she gets the aggressive side from them, though they really like me. But I hate my partner's ex, which works out well for me. Has since changed. As you may have noticed from my LinkedIn, it's pretty low on actual work history. I went to college after school. Past was offered an advanced course for further 2 years, which I declined. Has had enough learning. I then found an apprentice accountant job, which I did for a few months. Even had my own office. As I was young, I was more interested in having fun. Downstairs, I could hear warehouse people laughing. I soon left and found a job at a warehouse where I had plenty of laughs. The highlight was getting a job at Tilbury Docks, which paid really well. I drive a forklift moving paper reels from containers and trailers. Even had instances of driving cars and lorries off and onto ships. It was a good experience and a well-paid job too. Hours were really long and I was young and fed up. Left and took on other jobs. Last meaningful job was the new store. I did really well there. The managers let me choose my own hours. I worked nights but started at the store before it opened to the public. So everyone was day staff putting the store together, such as shelf tickets, products in place, installed racking. By the time the store officially opened, I didn't want to work nights, but they needed me. So I was the only staff member working overlapping shifts, start at 1 a.m, finish at 11 a.m. Night and days. It was hard for me, as I'd be out and about by 3 p.m, so hardly any rest. I met my partner at a job a few years prior. We lost touch after. Found her on Facebook all these years later in 2009. Had Jessie a year later and together since. She didn't want anyone. Oh, she didn't want any more, but I was desperate to have Jessie. As much as I love my partner, it wouldn't have worked had I not had my own child, as it was my single most desiring in my life to have a child of my genes. Now I can't imagine a life without her. We have 3 dogs, so a busy household. Been out of work a long time while raising Jessie. It was agreed when we had her that I would do my part and do the nappies, be home for her. Now she's coming to the end of nursery and starting school in the summer. I can now push on and get my career back on track. No longer do what I want to do. I don't know why I put that. No longer what I want to do warehouse. It's caused my back trouble, and I'm too intelligent to have a career wasted doing that. I use computers a lot. Always been fascinated by them, but as much as I'm trying, I'm not getting responses to applications. My break will come one day, just need to stay focused. It's a bit difficult to remember everything that needs to be said or told about my life in such a short amount of time, but this catches the gist of it. I've always enjoyed football, never a natural, but feel I was overlooked a lot at school. I was better than some of the others that got on the team, but then formed a B team, which the headmaster saw as his pet project. Stayed after school with us one evening a week to play on the AstroTurf. It was a lot of fun. I was vice captain. As I got older, I got better practice a lot, but never joined a team. Couldn't deal with the egos. I tried out for one, did well in training, then a friendly was arranged. I did okay. Came on substitute, crazy older defender on my team, kept shouting like a maniac at me to get back all the time when I was trying to support the attacks. Well, I got fed up a couple of times and shouted at him, "If you do your job properly, I wouldn't have to keep running back to cover you, you dipshit." Manager subbed me. I was fed up anyway. I like playing football for fun, not the hassle. Later in the match, the manager said for me to go on, and I said, "You can fuck off. I'm not doing this anymore, you're a prat." A couple of years later, I tried out for the team, another team. Can't remember the name. Really good team. Had some grueling pre-season training. Took part right back in a friendly. Everyone was really impressed, but I didn't bother going back. Playing for a team is too much commitment. Another thing about me is I don't like planning ahead. A week from now, I don't know how I feel. If I don't want to do it, I won't. But I hate spontaneousness. Telling me to go somewhere in 1 hour isn't going to happen. I need time to adjust to the idea. I'm not the easiest going by a long shot, but I do have a funny side that outweighs my sometimes angry flaws. Otherwise, my partner would have long gone. But I'm unique because she's intrigued. It's just about football, really. I think most of that was a bit drivelly. Been to Florida twice. America's my favourite place on earth. So happy when I was out there. The lifestyle suits me. I got to drive a rented car for a week, sometimes on my own when everyone was at the villa messing in a swimming pool. I just went for a drive on my own, stopped next to the sea and enjoyed the views. Well, before that, I had to make a hard left at a traffic light, so did a massive wheel spin to spin the car around. It was fun. I had the police seen. I'd have been in trouble. Um, you may have noticed I'm into country music. I liked it before I went to America. I liked it even more when I arrived. I have two ambitions in life now. One to visit Nashville, Tennessee, the home of country music. And the other, if I ever bother, is to hire a car and drive from Florida to Vegas. Would be some great sights to see along the way. As you can tell, I could pretty much have a conversation with myself. You've now caught up on my life. There's no mystery to be had. Maybe gaps in time that aren't mentioned, but it's impossible to go through 30 years of events without living them all again. As I said, I was just curious as to why you left and stopped visiting. I viewed your profile just to see what you had decided to do with your life instead. Seems as though you've done good for yourself, which is good. Would be more tragic if you didn't bother with your kids and was a no-hoper in life. Your newest photo looks like you're balding a bit, which intrigued me as I've been going thin in the hair down the middle of my head for a while now. I showed Mum and she said, yeah, that's you, as I wasn't sure if it was you. How would I have known? Never seen a picture of you in my life until LinkedIn. She explained what the no grudges thing meant. You beat her and got a hiding in return, of which she never agreed to. When she told me recently, it was obvious that she knew of it. Oh, she never knew of it until it had happened. Wait a minute. I don't know how angry you get or whether you just get a hot temper. But I'm very protective of Mum. I put myself on the line for her. I always heard that you may have hit her, which may in some way be why in my head and heart I've never had interest in meeting you. My whole life, she's done everything she can for me. I couldn't have asked for more. I'm grateful for everything she's done. I'm not a cuddly person, so I don't show her that in that way. But I know she cares. I know she knows I care. This text is really small. You don't need to explain your reason for leaving. It doesn't stop me sleeping. I just thought you messaged me twice. It would be wrong of me not to reply if you have questions you really wanted answering. So then he's got on to send a message to me, which really pissed me off. To be honest, it was the end really that wound me up. I just thought, I'm not playing games with you, mate. I've just given you a whole section. The least you can do is answer me now, you know. So he put, hi, wow. Thanks so much for writing such an in-depth message. Really, really appreciate it. I have much to say, though unlike you, I will send you my thoughts over a few emails, if that is okay. I don't know where to start, but I must say the last bit was difficult for me. You are right. Some bad things did go on. Not excusable, and something I have to live with. There were, on occasion, extenuating circumstances. More of that later. No matter what people say or think of me, I did not just walk off. I'm no bastard, and believe me, leaving you almost drove me to madness, I can tell you. I am an emotional and very caring man, to my children and to others, and I do not voluntarily go out to hurt others. I've never been a career man, just things fell into place along the way. We have that in common and much more than you think. As you have described yourself, there is much of me in there. I especially share with you, I do not like planning too far ahead. I do not suffer falls easily. I tell it like it is, strong character, and I care for others. Very happy that you are happy, and more so that you've got your wish to have a child of your very own. I cannot make up for anything that has happened, though I am more than willing to have a proper sit-down, man-to-man, and tell and show you the real person I am. No easy project for either of us. But from the bottom of my heart, I would cherish the opportunity to meet with you. Listen, no pressure whatsoever. This is purely on your terms, as I have taken everything you said on board. One thing I must say, during my entire life, especially the last 20 years, is I always believe in chance meetings. This brings moral, physical, higher stuff and work opportunities. Never burn bridges, always pay it forward, as they say. I will send another email later. Think about what I have said. I haven't told a soul that you've made contact. So let's meet. Yours, Dad. That is literally the last email I received because I never responded. But the point is, it pissed me off because it was like, wait, I've just told you everything. You've left it open and vague on purpose. And this is where the manipulative side comes in. I read people like a book. He's done this purposely to try to instigate a prolonged set of conversations. It was quite clear from my message that I'm giving you a rundown so you don't need to keep contacting me. So rather than just give an honest appraisal, really, and say what, like, anything about you and go deeper and explain things, it's like, you know what, I'm going to tell you over a few messages. So effectively, they're expecting you to start building up a repertoire and a conversation when I've just said I'm not interested in that. And then they're pointing out yet again about meeting and things. It's like, again, I don't need this shit. That's not, that's, I'm out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what, some people carry that. They want to meet them. And it's like, but what do you expect to gain from it? The reality is, I think people put too much emphasis on people. Like, I don't know him personally, but I know inherently that I'm a better person than him. I know that. I am intelligent. I have no doubt he has intelligence. I have a lot of humility, but I believe I'm going to go further. That's what it is. You know, I don't feel less or inferior in any way. So I don't look up to them. They don't inspire me. There's nothing for me to learn from them. We may have similar traits here and there, but I believe in this lifetime I will outshine anything they've achieved. That's not arrogance. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I think some things we do in life is a consequence of what happened. I think that can be the case. But then I think I'm spiritual anyway, so I believe everything happened how it's supposed to. It's almost like this had to happen for me to understand and process that, because other people go through experience similar. But it also gave me a drive and a determination to be a parent, you know. So my daughter is my world, and potentially she's my world as a consequence of my childhood. And I get that. I absolutely get that, because to be honest, that was my one goal in life, was to literally, I think it was literally to be what he wasn't. That was like a burning desire in me, you know. So when our home that broke apart, that broke my heart. That really, that messed me up. That really messed me up. Effectively, I was clinging to. I loved her mum, so let's not get it wrong. There's love there. I loved her. Don't now, you know. They definitely don't. No interest at all. It's just literally nothing. It's blank. But even then, even if the love had been fading, it's like I'm trying to keep it all together. I think in part because I didn't want a broken home. I wanted to give my daughter the life, a complete life that I never had as a child, you know? I think that's what it is. And that really broke me, that did. Because it's like, my God, it didn't, in my lifetime, I didn't get that. I've now got a chance to do it for my child, and I couldn't even give her that. Like, what on earth? What chance is there for anybody, you know? Life's freaking hard. But yeah, like I say, I'm I'm already a parent now. What do I need? Do you know what? Well, I don't need someone to sort of give me a pat on the back and say, "Oh, you're doing well with them," or "You're doing this with life," or "I'll give you this advice." I don't need it. So what would getting to know them do for me? You know, and I think that's what I'm trying to get across here is you can put attachments to people and think they're your saving grace, think they're the missing piece to your puzzle, and they're not. They're literally part of what your creation. If they're not there through the building blocks, you definitely don't need them at the end. And that's what it is. So it's not me covering for anything or trying to pretend this. If I was genuinely interested, this is the thing, because people might say, "Oh, you're hiding your feelings." It's been 10 years, mate. If I gave a crap, I would have answered. If I actually cared at all, I was curious beyond the initial message, I would have messaged back. I never did. I haven't even saved that phone number. I forgot you put a phone number in there. You know, that's the point. It doesn't weigh on me because I'm too busy always pushing forward. And I talk about it a lot, not even in this aspect, but in every part of my life. I always draw a line in the sand and move forward. Even if it's acquaintances, colleagues, situations, people you've met along the way. I just, you know, when it gets to a certain point and I look and go, right, have I outgrown this environment? Have I outgrown this situation? Right, that's finished then. So even if there's any trauma or anything from the past, for me, it's the chapter's closed. The new version of me exists now. So it doesn't weigh on me. It's like I'm just going forward. And it's the same with your existing family members, you know. If people are no longer aligned with you, it's like, why do you care what they think? And it's learning to cut them off because you don't need to waste your time with them. You know, it's been a long process for me because, you know, I thought family was the most important thing, but now I'm recognizing it's the family that I create is the most important thing. That's one of the most important things. It's not the family you're born into, it's the one you build yourself. But it's like being honest enough with yourself, you know, if things come to an end, they come to an end. When I look back now, I'm like, yeah, that relationship, as much as I did love them, it wasn't reciprocal, it wasn't fair, it was very unbalanced. It wasn't the dynamic wasn't what I wanted. I wanted someone that would work with me, you know, on things, and like life it's in harmony. Not you're doing this while they're doing that all the time, you know, or they don't want to do that. They're being lazy with this. It's like that's not fun to me. That's really it. That's disharmony. I want it where you're in tune with each other. Like if you could prepare it, like something as simple as that. If you're preparing a meal, you prepare it together sometimes, you know, just you always want to do things together. That's nice. Um, the little things really. So hopefully I'll get that in the future and it'll be nice, a beautiful relationship where all roads led to that. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I think we all go through a level of, you could call it trauma, whatever, yeah, what you call it. We've all got experiences, you know, all been through something, but sometimes you just got to let it go. You've got to let things come to an end. And I don't just have so much attachment to the past or the present in some ways, because if people are no good in the present, you've got to learn to cut them off now, you know, set that boundary, prioritize self. So I build my career, I build my legacy, I do everything for my highest good at all times. And that's not instigated by someone else. You know, I did this. What I've elevated and done already, like with my books and the content I create, whatever I do and who I'm becoming, that's self-made. You know, if he's successful in his own right, then great. But he had no bearing on my success. This is all me. So he made a point within reference within there somewhere. Um, I think I'm not sure if he sent another message and I haven't got it there. I can't remember because I don't think he did. But there's a part here about career opportunity. If you like, if potentially if you meet, I think this was the inference here. One thing I must say during my entire life, especially the last 20 years, um, never burn bridges, always pay it forward, as they say. I'm not sure if it's in this because I haven't got another message that's saved anywhere. So I'm sure it was this, but it was almost the inference was if you meet, you never know what opportunities can come from it. Almost like because you're sort of frustrated in career, you never know what he may be able to open doors. And I thought that'd be nice. Like it'd be nice to have an opportunity. I was at that period I could really do with a door opening, and it was like, yeah, that'd be great. But I'm not begging. No, I won't beg no one for that. And especially of all, your natural parent. You know, if you care, you would. If he cared, even if he's not getting anything in return, he would have opened a door for me. But he didn't, and I noticed that. And I was like, if you think I'm begging you for anything, you've got nothing coming. If it's, I'd rather walk the hard path. Thank you very much. I don't take the easy way out of things. Too many people, they seek handouts. They want someone to open the door for them, and they'll forgo their morals for it. Me, I won't. If it took me an extra 10 years, look, 2020, 2014, 2024. You know, you never know. An opportunity may come up a lot sooner had he helped. But I was like, no, all right, I'll do it myself. Yeah, I've come a long way since then because the website he reached out to me through my website, and it was a different website. It was a far cheesier website back then. Yeah, but yeah, well, I've come a long way in what I can do, who I'm becoming, and yeah, I just consider myself better. So anyway, uh, sometimes you draw a line. Effectively, that's the whole point, though, isn't it? It's like you got to be the main character of your life and stop leaning so heavily or idolizing people, because half the time, how you idolize people, they end up not. They don't, but most of the time, they don't live up to the idea. I've had it with other family members where they obsess about like a parent that's gone or something, and it's like, my God, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, without being rude, I just consider it's not putting it in like some obnoxious way. It was more like I just consider him a sperm donor. That's what it is. So like, I'm not hiding anything, and there's no arrogance to it. It's like I just consider him a sperm. Like, effectively, he was part of my creation, and that's just all. And that was his involvement. That's fine. You know, so part of my personality is intertwined, but beyond that, my path was laid out to go separate way from them. There's no deep. It doesn't have to go deeper than that, you know. But I think too many people they can't let go, and that's why they continue investing in or sort of wondering. And it's like you don't really need to. Don't need to. Like I say, I'll focus more on my legacy for the future rather than anything of the past, um, and hopefully potentially have a big impact on the world. But I've had a positive influence on my daughter, so that's been great because I get to see her growth and who she's becoming. Yeah, and I know either okay, she has a broken home, which sadly I couldn't do anything about, and maybe it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I've made it. She's strong and wise from it. So anyway, yeah, a bit on all aspects. I consider my maybe not finances right now, but I have no doubt in the future finances too. But apart from that, I think I've been a far better evolution of that person, I guess.